It makes me say WTF MTG. WTF MTG. What the fatal push are you thinking, Magic the Gathering? Whew. I think that worked better than I expected it to. Anyway, it's Kyle, Casual Wizard MTG. What's up, guys? This video is going to be about a few cards that make me say, WTF MTG. What the fatal push are you thinking, Magic the Gathering? Or as my man Jeremy over at MTG headquarters says, what the fetal push? I think that's pretty funny, the fetal push thing. So let's get right into it. There's this card called Plagiarize. Now, plagiarize, we all know what it means. When you take somebody else's work, pass it off as your own. So this card here, it's got an eye as the mouth, and it's got two little mouths where the eyes are, as you can see. And I'm just trying to, it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre artwork that to represent plagiarize. I don't know, I think there's like a Snapchat or Instagram like filter that does this to your pictures, but anyway, it's just a bizarre card. I'm trying to make sense of how this could make sense, and what I've come up with is, so the eye is, you know, this guy has been possessed by this other being, and this eye is his mouth, and it's, you know, it's going over it's pouring over the pages. I think there's a card, pour over the pages in Shadows over Innistrad, so it's a little plug. You see what I did there? Anyway, there's this eye, and it's like looking at this book, and it's the mouths, they're screaming. So this eye is like so focused on just getting all these words down while the mouths scream to somebody, like everything that the eye is reading, and it's screaming to this guy like 100 yards away, everything that it's reading, so that guy 100 yards away, he can just, like, he's copying it down. You know, that's the only thing I can think of what's happening here. So it's just a bizarre card. It makes me say, WTF MTG. Next card would be the Gem Palm Polluter. So this guy's, just look at this thing. This guy's fucking gross. I don't know if you agree, but these palms, the gem palms, they look like little turds, like little shit palms. And it's gross. He's just like throwing little palms. He's polluting or not his palms. He's just like polluting these gems, shit gems everywhere. It's not a gem. It is definitely not a gem. And just like think of this guy if he comes into your neighborhood. You think the dogs in your neighborhood are bad? Imagine this guy just like, look, this'll get him. And he's just tossing little shit turds everywhere in front of your car, right in the deep grass, so you don't know you're gonna step in it, but you're gonna step in it. And then you're gonna get in your car and you're gonna drive to work, and there's gonna be shit all over your rug, and then you're gonna come back home and he's got little shit on your yard, and you're going to step in your yard and on the little gem shit, the shit gems, and you're going to come into your house and you're going to spread the shit all over your rug. Like, that's what this guy is. He's just gross. Bam, throwing little shit for you and you. He's like Oprah, just throwing shit. There's shit for you, gem shits for everybody. Everybody gets shit gems. Like, this guy's gross. I don't know if you agree, but it's gross. He's got turd on his hand and he's throwing it around, and he's gross. Makes me say WTF MTG. And then finally, a third card I want to go over is the Maw of the Obsidian. Obsidat. I have no idea how to say it. Just the name alone makes me say WTF MTG. But this guy, he's just bizarre. Another bizarre thing. He's got this giant, like, it's just this like Jabba the Hutt type looking thing, except he's enormous. He's just, his stomach is just open, like he's had like a cesarean section, and there's teeth inside, and like these humans and these other sacrificed creature beings are just hopping into his stomach directly. Motorcycles, and if you've seen some of my other videos, there's always motorcycles, or there's always like ambulances, fire trucks, and cops always going by. Apparently I live in like the worst hood in America. There's just stuff always happening outside. Anyway, so this maw of the Obsidat, his teeth are just like eating all these people that are jumping into his stomach, and it's just bizarre. And like this guy's eating like humans. Like I want to eat tacos. Just hop in my belly, tacos. Just come on in. Sacrifice yourselves to my stomach. Anyway, it's bizarre. These guys are bizarre cards. WTF MTG. WTF. Then kind of want to go over a couple cards. Now I talked about this card in another video. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna put a little link to it in the description. Bubbling Beebles. This is probably my least favorite card when I'm looking at the picture and comparing it to the 3/3 power and defense. Some of you, if you've never seen any of my videos, defense is toughness, defense, whatever. I call it defense. So 3/3, Bubbling Beebles. They're little bubble, like Mickey Mouse creatures. It doesn't make sense how they're a 3/3. I don't get it. It just, I mean, look at they're kind of, might as well be Teletubbies. That's what they look like to me. And what could a Teletubby possibly defeat in the world? I think a newborn baby could defeat a Teletubby. I mean, the artwork, it just doesn't redeem any value to make this a 3/3. Maybe it could be like a defense of 0-1 or something, but how do these guys cause damage? I don't know. Bubbles I've never seen bubbles cause damage. These guys are just like, yay! Let's do it again, Dad! Yay! Let's go down your tube again! Yay! The farmer in the dell! The farmer in the dell! Anyway, that's kind of what it looks like to me that they're doing. So some creatures that these things can take out. Let's start with the Vodalian zombie, 2/2. Bubbles can't defeat a zombie that's hanging out in the ocean. I mean, maybe it can take out this zombie because this zombie looks like it's already keeled over and it's about to float to the surface because it's lost its life. Like a fish would do, I guess. Then there's a Sky Knight Legionnaire, which is like a knight on an enormous dragon, which is 2/2. Also, easily defeatable by the Bubbling Beebles. No problem taking out a dragon and a knight on top of the dragon. Not a problem for the Bubbles / Teletubbies. And then the Sarodin Yearling. This dude's enormous. He's probably like 10,000 pounds. He's a huge beast. He's only 2/2. Now I don't know if this might say less about Bubbling Beebles and more about the failure of this artwork to match the Sarodin Yearling artwork to match the 2/2. This guy should definitely at least be a 3/3 in my opinion. He's enormous. I mean, you can see there's humans in the corners of this card so you can get a relative size. And he's enormous. He can take out an army of humans, but he can't take out a bunch of bubbles. And then finally, a Batterhorn. Now this is another enormous beast. This guy's bigger than the last one, the Sarodin Yearling. This guy's a 4/3. Granted, this and the Bubbling Beebles will take each other out, but it doesn't make sense. It makes me say WTF MTG. Batterhorn, this guy, again, maybe he should start at like a 5/4 or a 4/4, just something much bigger. Maybe it says more about this card than it does about Bubbling Beebles, but the facts are Bubbling Beebles are 3/3, and it can take out this enormous beast, and they're bubbles. WTF MTG. Finally, I want to talk about some of the small cards in Magic, the small creatures, the regular John Does and Jane Does, the regular average Joes that appear in the multiverse. The blue collar folk that really hold together the communities that do the hard work. For instance, we got a Samite Healer, 1/1. Most of these are going to be 1/1 creatures or 0/1. Samite Healer. We have a Diligent Farmhand. We have a Tragic Poet. We have a Centaur's Herald. We have a Devout Harpist, and a Nut Collector. All of these guys are 1/1, exception Centaur's Herald, which is an 0/1. But then, above all of these common folk, there is a seller of songbirds. The seller of songbirds is a 1/2. Think about that for a second. A farmhand, diligent farmhand. I don't know where most of you are from that watch this, but I'm from a very small city which has a decent amount of, upstate New York, has a decent amount of farmland, and all the surrounding towns are farms. And I played football in high school, and when we played some of these teams, like, they had man-children on their team. All the farmers and their families, like, I'm talking 16-year-olds that were 6'3", 250 pounds, and there's not one of them or two. Like, the entire team of farmers were enormous humans that grow up to be, 5'5" human magic card type creatures. Like, these guys are enormous. They're bigger than I will ever be by the time they're 2. So this diligent farmhand, it happens to be a 1/1, but don't worry, guys. The seller of songbird, she can take out the farmer, no problem. She can take out the tragic poet. It makes sense. So yeah, when there is a bare knuckle battle to the death fight, the seller of songbirds will defeat all of these other townsfolk that I just mentioned. I don't know how I feel about that, but a little more perspective. Llanowar Elves, the classic card, probably one of the most known cards, I think, in Magic. It's been printed so many times. Everybody has a Llanowar Elves in their decks, and it is a 1/1. And the seller of songbirds can take it out. WTF MTG. And when you compare the artwork, it doesn't make sense still. Not to me. The seller of songbirds here, I mean, she has some birds. Maybe the birds help defend her, and that's the only thing I could possibly think. But they're little tiny, like robins. They're little tiny birds. And there's, I don't know, 5 of them in this picture. And, I mean, the diligent farmhand, he's a farmer. Farmers are generally pretty tough people. Tragic poet. Yeah. Okay, what does she get to do, the seller of songbirds? Well, man, I don't know. She could stab her with her pen. Centaur's Herald, yeah. Well, you know what? She's actually carrying some sort of scepter in her hand there. She could probably bludgeon to death the seller of the songbirds and swap those birds one by one if she had to. She's an 0/1. She's the weakest of all. Maybe she's just singing in the alleyway. She's not paying any. Maybe she's ambushed by the seller of songbirds and her birds in the alleyway. I don't know. Samite Healer. I mean, he's good with his hands, right? He's probably, I imagine he could choke out the seller of songbirds. Maybe I'm wrong. Apparently I am. The Devout Harpist could pretty much, smash the face in of the seller of songbirds. All the birds would never be able to get through all the strings. Like, I'm pretty sure the Devout Harpist would beat the seller of songbirds. The Nut Collector, he could throw his nuts at her. I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense for these seller of songbirds to be a 1/2, while all these other common townsfolk are only 1/1. That's about it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. And I have to make a point to always ask you guys, I'm always forgetting to ask you to put some comments down below. Let me know if you know any cards that don't make sense to you. Some of the cards out there that make you say WTF MTG. I'd love to see them. And I think that's about it for now. So thanks, guys. Kyle, Casual Wizard here. Stay casual, stay magical.